Good evening, Drew.
Oh, that was very weird.
Uh-oh.
Skype didn't make its usual ringing noise, which was
Hmm.
weird. I didn't know which way this was going to go, but you're there. You're on the other end of the magic tube.
I am. I'm here. Oh, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, before we get started, I owe you just an enormous thank you.
Okay.
Uh, when I opened up about my secret shame last show, we got done recording, and I thought to myself, oh no,
Did I
there's
make
gonna
a
be
huge mistake?
there's gonna be people that listen to that in my immediate vicinity that I may or may not cohabitate with. They're gonna have questions.
Okay.
But I gotta say, the fact that you tore me a new one over my lamp sort of deflected.
Oh.
Yeah. My lady friend was
You're welcome.
my lady friend was more mad at you for that than she was mad at me for playing sex games. She wasn't completely not mad at me, but that really took the brunt of it for me. So I owe you a little bit of a thanks there.
You're welcome, I guess.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Oh.
Oh, okay. You have a lot you want to talk about tonight.
There's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But before we get going, I watched the greatest movie.
Okay.
All right. So it is a movie called Dread, and Dredd, not like the canonical Dread, but it is it takes place in the Judge Dredd universe of characters, which I have not watched Judge Dredd since that whatever that was with Sylvester Stallone back in the day.
I also have watched that one with Sylvester Stallone back in the day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's just the right amount of camp. It's a bad movie.
It is.
It's a real bad movie, but it's just the right kind of bad. And it's one of those things where if I come across it on a streaming service, yeah, I might watch it. I mean, it's one of those things I can like put it on in the background, and the parts that have like Rob Schneider in it, I'll just play on my phone. But it wasn't it's no, let me be clear. It's a bad movie, but it's watchable. It's a watchable movie. So I was kind of tooling around on the Amazon streaming service, and I saw that they had the 2012 movie Dread. And I had heard from several people back even when this came out that this was a good movie. And I got to tell you, I really enjoyed it. It's everything the original Judge Dredd movie with Sylvester Stallone should have been. It is incredibly violent.
Okay.
Like ridiculously violent. And there's a lot of cool cinematography in it. They do a slow-mo type thing in it where there's gunfights and things happening in slow motion. And there's a reason for that. It has to do with one of the plot points of the movie about this drug that is sort of running rampant. And it was a good movie. But I have a complaint, and this isn't a complaint specifically about this movie. But at home, I am sort of past the point of owning a nice home stereo system anymore. So I don't have a surround sound system in my house anymore. It's wired for it, but it's not hooked up. And then upstairs where I watch most of my TV, now I have a sound bar. These movies on these streaming services alternate between everything's super quiet and everything's really loud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the dialogue in this movie is very low. So you kind of have to crank it to hear the audio when they're talking. But
Now,
otherwise,
you use an Apple TV, don't you?
I do.
Still? Now there is a feature of the Apple TV called I want to think it's like reduced dynamic range, where it's a feature of the audio where it tries to make the quiet parts louder and the loud parts not as loud. It kind of makes everything the same volume. I wish I could remember the name of the feature. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but there is a feature you can do that, and it does help.
Yeah. So, okay, I know exactly what feature you're referring to, and I turned that on.
Okay, not enough.
No, and maybe it's just this particular movie, but it didn't really help. It didn't really help. Maybe it was this particular mix for this movie. I don't know. but it's good. It's a good movie. If you enjoy sort of a romp through a lot of bad guys with some cool sort of future technology and some solid casting. Carl Urban is the actor who plays Dredd, and he's one of those that guy actors that you've seen him in a bunch of stuff and you never remember
Right.
what his name is. Like as I was doing research for the show, like I was like, I know this guy has been in things. Like he was in Red and he was in a bunch of other stuff. Let's see, what else was he really good in? He was in Return of the King apparently, and Two Towers. Like he was in those.
Really?
He was the bad guy in the second Bourne movie, like the bad Russian guy. Like he's that guy. Like you just know
Yeah.
him. You just know him from things.
Carl Urban. He's been in a lot of Yo, dude, yeah, he's the lead character. He's a Bobby Butcher in Billy Butcher in The Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That guy.
That guy.
Which I haven't watched The Boys yet. Should I?
Oh, yeah. It's good.
Okay.
It's really, really, really good. I highly recommend it. Yeah. Yeah. They're filming season 3 right now, I think. So
Yeah.
The Boys. It's good. The Boys is good.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get that on my list to watch. But anyway, so when I was watching Dredd, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I have seen this movie before. Not I haven't, let me be clear, I haven't seen this movie before, but I've seen this particular movie before. And it brought me back, and it about halfway through the movie I realized it. It's there was a movie that came out in the early 2000s. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it was 2011. The movie was called The Raid. Have you ever see it?
I'm not sure I ever even heard of it.
Yeah, The Raid.
Raid.
So it's a foreign film where this cop, they go to this big like apartment that's full of crime to arrest or to serve a search warrant or something, and this guy gets trapped and he has to fight his way to the top floor. Same kind of plot here, except it's Judge Dredd and there's all kinds of cool tech, and the people were beautiful. The female leads in this movie are really good. Actually, I think they're better than the male leads. Yeah, but if you find yourself looking for something to watch, you could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse. I really enjoyed it. And I understand that Judge Dredd is also like a comic book series, apparently.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. I've never read them, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. Just want to pass it along as a recommendation. The Raid is also good if you can find that streaming anywhere. You can find it like Half Price Books or something, but yeah, go watch that. If you're bored on a Saturday or Sunday evening, just go watch it. It was good.
I've officially added it to my list of things to watch. There we go. Done.
Okay. Now, look,
Done.
this movie's not going to win any Academy Awards. I don't want you to go in thinking that this is the greatest movie ever made, but solid action movie.
I
it's-
like a solid action movie, so
And like it's one of those things where they throw a couple twists at you here and there, but you'll sort of see them coming.
okay.
Yeah, pretty tropey, but it's good. All right, let's talk about your stuff.
So the first thing I want to talk about is my garbage eyeballs again. So in a previous episode, I mentioned that my eyeballs are horrible, and I was getting my first set of progressive lenses. Right. So they came in. I am now wearing my progressive lenses. So a lot of people know, you say progressive lenses and people understand, oh, it's like a bifocal, but you can't see the line. Okay. And you're pretty much right. Progressive lenses have essentially like 3 levels of prescription, right? The kind of the top part is for distance. The middle part is for like medium, like looking at a computer, for example. And the bottom is for close-up reading. He's even got like a little bit of magnification, right? But what they don't tell you, Drew, is that there's a secret 4th prescription in a progressive lens, and that distance is hot garbage.
Okay.
So progressive lenses, it's not a smooth transition, right? It's kind of like an hourglass, right? So like the top part wide all the way across is distance, and then it kind of smushes in the middle for the medium distance, and then it kind of expands back out a little bit for the for the close up, the reading, right? So if you picture an hourglass, right, it's skinnier in the middle and wider at the top and bottom. Well, the prescription works like that, but of course, hey, the lens is round, ovalish, right? There's still glass in the parts of the side of the hourglass, and that's the part that is absolute garbage, right? It's, if you try to look through that, it's super distorted. It absolutely wrecks your peripheral vision, like just destroys it. Like you basically don't have peripheral vision anymore. It's just this hot, blurry mess. And I am having a hell of a time getting used to them. They kind of tell you that instead of moving your eyes to look at things, you really need to like point your nose at what you want to look at. And I'm still trying to get used to it. It says it can take a couple of weeks to a month to fully adjust, and your brain figures out. Now, I'm going to say something, Drew, that is probably the most privileged statement I have ever said on this podcast.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so I am used to, when I'm sitting down at my computer, I have a 27-inch 5K monitor. It's big, it's glorious, it's full of pixels.
It's the same one I have, right?
Same one you have, the LG
Yeah.
Ultrafine 5K.
Okay.
Because of the way I have three different prescriptions on my lenses, the way that my peripheral vision is just absolutely wrecked, I had to I'm currently not using that monitor because using that monitor made me hella nauseous. It was just too big. There was just too much of it that was distorted. As I would move my head, like the screen would kind of pucker and ripple as I was going through the different prescriptions and the parts of the lens that are garbage. So I'm down to a lowly 23-inch 4K monitor. Like an animal, Drew.
Huh. Just all because of your lenses.
Yeah, it's I get, after about like 3 hours of work, I really start getting huge headaches. It's been more difficult to adjust to them than I thought it was going to be. Now, granted, like everyone said, like you have to give it a couple weeks and then your brain will start adapting to them. But yeah, it's been awful. In fact, like I didn't realize, like I have a very standard kind of setup, right? I have my monitor in front of me, and then off to the side, kind of to the left, I have my laptop sitting there with the lid open, so I can kind of use its screen as a second monitor. And I can't tell you, like, it's just muscle memory. I got so used to kind of just keeping my head straight and kind of just moving my eyes over there to see what's playing, or take a quick note. And I just can't do that anymore, because when, if I'm looking straight and my eyes go to the left, look at the monitor, it's all distorted and messed up looking.
Oh, no.
So then I have to bring my eyes forward and then turn my nose and look at the monitor. Now, granted, like if I'm actually using the, looking straight ahead, I can tell the difference between the three levels of prescription. And like, it is good. Like, I can, I don't have to look over my glasses to read anything more. I kind of just, lift my chin up a little bit and point my eyes down, and I can read things that are really small text, which is great. But whew, the rest of it is just it's not fun. It's not fun.
So how does this get fixed?
I just have to get used to it. Is basically what it comes down to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And how long have you been wearing them now?
I got them on Tuesday.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
it's only been 48 hours ish.
Yeah. And it's only been 48 hours, but it's been a rough 48 hours. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, they also tell you to be really careful walking up and down stairs.
Ooh, like is that a thing? Is that an actual thing?
Yeah, so the bottom part of the lens, the bottom part of the lens is right. The one that's used for reading also has a little bit of magnification, so things look bigger, which impacts your depth perception. So like you can tell if you're kind of looking down at the stairs, things look better. The one really weird, like the weird case where this really kind of like I notice it a lot and it's really disturbing is actually unloading the silverware out of my dishwasher.
Okay.
Because as I pull like the forks and spoons out, right, I'm looking down, I'm looking through the bottom part of my glasses, and my silverware looks bigger than it's ever looked before. Which is
Wow.
just kind of, I often get confused. Like I first noticed it because I have two different sizes of spoons. I got big old spoons and regular spoons, and I pulled out a regular spoon, thinking, "Oh, this is a big spoon," and then I pulled out a big spoon. I was like, "What?" Yeah, it's weird. I've never. Yeah, it's weird. It's like I have a raging headache right now. Uh, Yay! Getting old
Wow.
sucks. I don't recommend it.
Okay. Well,
Getting old.
I
Yep.
I have not had that happen yet. In fact, my eyes are bad, but my prescription has stayed the same like over the past 8 years. It hasn't changed, but I think that's probably going to change.
Yeah, when you start hitting 40, between 40 and 50, your eyes will kind of evolve into their final sucky form as and it's really nothing to do with the eyes. It's just the cornea starts getting harder, and it's hard to change focus, and it starts bending the light differently, and yeah. Oh,
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, man. I just want to make sure you're okay.
I'll get through it, and after 2 weeks, if I'm still not used to it, I'm just going to call them back up and go, nope, don't want them.
Don't wanna.
Take them back. I'll deal with it. Oh,
Now, I've seen you wear contacts from time to time, but these are your glasses, right?
Yeah, I think I did try wearing contacts once when we worked together, but it lasted like 3 months.
Yeah.
I wore contacts when I was younger, like in high school. But my eyes have progressively gotten worse and worse, and I think I'm like at a -8 for like contacts, or 8.25 or something like that. And they're just so thick that I don't find them comfortable anymore. So I've given up on contacts, and I just wear
And
glasses.
this, because I know someone's probably going to mention this to you, so I'll just get out right in front of it. What about like corrective surgery?
So my eyes have been getting progressively worse. So every time I talk about that, they're like, "Well, we probably should wait another year to see if your eyes continue to change," and they continue to always change. So and considering that my eyes are so bad, they only really get one shot at it. So like for me, corrective surgery really wouldn't be about not wearing glasses anymore. It'd be about wearing thinner glasses, or maybe being able to wear contacts again. But
I see.
yep. But at this point, I'm just going to wait for my cataracts to grow, and then I'll just get cyber eyes put in, and it'll be good.
Yeah, just rip them right out of there.
Yeah. So it'll be fine.
Okay, man. I don't like to hear my friend Paul in any kind of distress or suffering.
No. I just didn't realize. Like, I knew they would be different. I didn't realize how different they would be, and just it's a big part of it. Really, just is that peripheral vision. Like, it is just absolutely gone. And granted, like with glasses, you never had great peripheral vision, right? Because your lenses only were so big. But I didn't realize how much I used it, and now that I can't.
Well, okay, well, hold on, though. They mentioned that you need to be careful when you're driving and such, or I'm sorry, walking around and going up and down stairs. What about driving? Have you driven with them yet?
I have not driven with them. I wasn't brave enough to drive home with them from the eye doctor.
All right.
So I have not tried. So that'll be something I attempt this weekend, and I'll take my old glasses with me. And I did buy a new pair of prescription sunglasses this time that don't have They're just regular lenses. They're not progressive because I wasn't going to spend the extra like $400 to get my sunglasses to also be progressive. So I have those as well. Yeah. But let's talk about something more fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Okay. So I've updated my coffee bullshit. I love my coffee bullshit. I didn't drink coffee for a very long time. And then I started drinking coffee again.
You can't see how big the smile on my face is.
Okay. It was at first it was decaf. Just you called me that at some point I would be drinking caffeinated coffee again, and you are correct.
I know,
but I'm drinking half calf right now.
Okay,
so it's half
still
caffeinated. Still counts. It's not fully caffeinated, and basically what I've done is I've replaced my beloved can of Dr. Pepper that I usually would have with lunch with an after lunch coffee, half calf. It has about the same amount of caffeine, maybe even a little bit less than the Dr. Pepper, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. But, I'm never one to leave well enough alone, and especially when it comes to fancy ways of making coffee. I always enjoyed pour over coffee, right? Using a Chemex to do a pour over. I always liked the kind of the smooth flavor and how clean the coffee was. And I've been using an AeroPress to making like a single cup of coffee because no one in my house but me drinks coffee, so I don't have anything that makes a pot of coffee, right? It's all about one cup at a time. So I started looking to see, hey, can I get that pour over experience, but just for one cup of coffee? And it turns out there are a metric shit ton of products in that space. And I found one that was universally well reviewed, lots of good comments, lots of good Amazon reviews, lots of good stuff on the internet. And this is the OXO Brew Pour Over Coffee Maker with Water Tank. And I'll put a link in the show notes, and I'm realizing right now that you can't buy it. So, middle fingers, everybody.
You know what's funny? Quick sidebar. The lamp that I linked last show, when I was putting together the show notes on Sunday, that lamp is no longer available. Like, it's not on Amazon at all, which scares me a little bit.
Okay. Because it was Aki, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw something like here it is. I'll
get
drop
bought?
this. No, Amazon kicked most of their products off of their store because of allegations of fake reviews. Here, I'll drop a link.
Okay. All right.
I'll drop a link.
Wow, I got took. I got hoodwinked.
There it is. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think it was necessarily your lamps, but it was like a lot of like their like phone accessories and stuff like that. But yeah.
Oh, I did a bad. No, now this. Oh no. Now my lamp sucks even more. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So.
Yep.
OXO Brew Pour Over Coffee Maker with Water Tank.
Yes. So
I'm very confused. I'm looking at the pictures.
Okay. So how it comes, it's really it's really three pieces, right? So at the bottom is this piece that looks like a coffee cup, but it's not really a coffee cup. It's designed to hold a number 2 filter, which are those little cone filters, right?
Yeah.
So you put your cone filter in there, and then you put your coffee grounds in there, right? You measure it out, and you put it in there. And then that sits on top of your mug. So you put this, and it looks like a coffee cup on top of your coffee cup.
Oh, so it has like a little coffee baby. It has a little coffee baby into the cup.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you put the water tank on top of there, which is what you pour your water in. And it's got different levels of how many ounces are in there. So you pour your water in there. Then it's got a little lid to help keep the heat in because, it's cute. And then you put the coffee in, you put the tank on, you pour the water in, and then you just wait. It's got holes at the bottom. So it's here it is. This is the marketing. AutoDrip tank precisely controls the water flow rate for a consistent, well-balanced brew. There's no need to stand by with the kettle. And let's be honest, standing by with the kettle is the worst part of pour over coffee, right? Because you have to constantly keep the water going and keep.
But that's the art of the pour over, though. Like you pour, you wait, you pour, you wait. You got to get it right.
Well, so you're not supposed to wait. You're supposed to be consistent. So you're constantly putting a little bit of water in and you're moving it around.
Oh, I was misled.
Yeah, it's all right. This, you don't have to worry about that. You just fill the tank. It starts dripping. You got coffee. You put the lid on to keep it hot. You know what? It makes a terrific cup of coffee.
Simple steps. Just add your favorite grinds and up to 12 ounces of hot water. Retains heat while brewing and doubles as a drip tray. Filters included. I like this.
It's great. Yeah, it's great.
Well,
and there's lots of other products in this space. I'm sure they all work very similar. And if you want to spend more for it, I think Chemex even makes their version of this, which is like ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, Chemex is a boutique brand.
Yeah. But I found this thing, and it's absolutely wonderful. So if you want to make a single cup of pour-over coffee, you could do a lot worse.
Okay, so your update this week is extremely timely.
Okay.
Hold on. For some reason,
Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop.
She just started talking. So your update's very timely because I have found myself sort of irritated with my French press.
Okay.
It makes a great cup of coffee. A cup of coffee singular. It's good at it. I have a fantastic coffee grinder. Go back to around one of our Christmas time episodes to hear my review of that. Does great grinds. I have good coffee, and the French press makes a really good cup of coffee. But what I don't like is the cleanup of the French press.
Did I not tell you?
You told me.
You
told me. And I knew you were right.
I knew you.
And I've just sort of been living with it. And it's messy because you squash the grounds down in the French press, and then you have to like get a little spatula, scoop them all out, and you can't put those grounds down the sink because that's a service call waiting to happen. And what I do is I get a wet paper towel and I sort of, get my whole fist up in there and just kind of rinse it out, and then rinse it out with soap, put it back on the shelf, and then I'll throw it in the dishwasher from time to time to make sure it gets cleaned. But yeah, it's a lot of cleanup effort. There's like a very low barrier to entry versus a traditional pour over, I guess, but it's a lot of work to keep that thing clean. So I have sort of been kicking around the idea of getting some new coffee paraphernalia. And I'm thinking about getting some sort of coffee maker. And what you just linked me is really interesting. So I'm going to keep an eye on that because I feel like that would make it really easy to make a good pour over with minimal muss and fuss. And it looks like it's pretty easy to clean because the grounds just go in a coffee filter, which is kind of what I'm looking for.
Now, if you're still looking for a single cup at a time, maybe one or two cups, I mean, I still really, really love my AeroPress. It just kind of makes a stronger form of coffee.
Right.
You usually have to kind of like dilute it with a little hot water. It makes kind of more of an espresso. But I still absolutely love that thing. It's incredibly easy to clean. So like the big difference. So I don't know if you ever used an AeroPress before, or seen one used. Essentially, it's like, imagine like a syringe, but it's big and it's for coffee, right? So you kind of put your grounds in. There's a paper filter, right? So at the very bottom there's this little cap thing that has a bunch of holes in it to let water out. You put a paper filter in there, you screw it on, you put your grounds in. You pour hot water, and then you put the kind of the top part is a plunger. So it's got this rubber seal. You got to put that in there, and you just slowly kind of push. And it uses pressure, not much unlike an espresso machine, to make the coffee. And you would think, well, that sounds a lot like a French press, and French presses are horrible to clean. Why is this so much better? Well, it's because of that pressure. The grounds kind of form this really tightly packed, dense puck. So you just take your AeroPress over to the trash can, open the lid, push it the rest of the way. It goes thunk, and it shoots out this puck of coffee grounds into your trash can. you take your paper towel, because I usually have paper towel in case I spill water or something. I know it's wasteful. I don't care. Whatever. America. Whoop whoop. Take your paper towel.
Again, I'm gonna need you to isolate that sound at the end of the show.
Take that paper towel, wipe off the remaining bit of coffee grounds, and then you rinse it off in the sink, and you're done.
Yeah.
And then you can get fancy. You can do different ways. I actually use a method on the AeroPress called the inverted method, where you do the whole thing upside down and then you flip it over at the end before you press it.
Does that increase your chances of conception, or like what is that?
Exactly. It just,
okay.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Exactly.
I was going to go in a slightly different direction here.
Okay. Are you going to get something? You're going to get something super fancy and automated?
Yeah. Well. So I'm in love with my coffee grinder. Again, go back and listen to the episode where I talk about it. But I have a Breville coffee grinder, and it's just outstanding. I love the controls. I love the construction. The aesthetic is nice. And, I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at Breville coffee makers. First of all, bad choice. Very expensive. So I was thinking about going back to a drip coffee maker. But again, I'm usually just making one cup of coffee for myself. And again, I really like that for the French press, just because it makes one good cup of coffee. And that's really all I need in the morning. I used to drink a lot more coffee. And I'm worried about if I go back to a regular drip coffee maker that I'm going to, overdo it a little bit. So I was looking at this. And again, this is one of those things that's probably more money than it needs to be. So I'm just going to drop this in the show notes. But this is kind of what I was looking at. It's a Breville Precision Brewer Thermal. Looks like a similar concept to the thing that you showed earlier by OXO, where the brewing sort of happens up in the top little chamber, and then it trickles down into the coffee boy. And yeah, I don't know, man. I really want to get an AeroPress, and simultaneously while I have this page up, I'm looking at Amazon for AeroPresses, and I just don't know which one to get.
I dropped a link in there. The one I would get. It's $30.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the one I was just looking at, because it actually says AeroPress on it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love making coffee. Is to me, it's more about how you make the coffee than the coffee itself, right? It's about the beans you pick and your grinder and all that wonderful stuff. And something like this Breville Precision Brewer Thermal, if you were making a pot of coffee, or you had more than one person that was, drinking coffee, and you didn't want to be bothered making a whole pot with the Chemex, absolutely, I would go for it. But if you want to get into the realm of making a really, really good single cup of coffee, you really owe yourself to try an AeroPress. They're $30. They're absolutely. I can even give you my instructions for how I make my coffee with my AeroPress, so you don't have to follow the noob instructions that come with it. I mean, there are so many. I literally have an app on my phone called AeroPress Timer, I believe. AeroPress, that has a bunch of different recipes in there, different ways to do it. Different grinds, different lengths of letting the soak, how long you stir, how long you steep, how long's the plunge. Right, so whether it's a fast plunge or a slow plunge,
love me a good slow plunge, baby.
Yep. What I do right now is it's called the Weaver. So you use a medium coarse grind. You put, hold on, let me get it to 100 grams of coffee ground, which is it's significant, but it's fine. No, you pour, yeah. Wait, no, that's wrong. Not 100. It's 100 grams of water the first time. So yeah. So you put 1 scoop of coffee in. Here it is. 15 grams of coffee. 15 grams of coffee. So you can do it. You can do it eyeball, but you're going to want to get a scale too. Do you have a nice little kitchen scale?
Of course.
Okay. So 15 grams of coffee. Pour 100 grams of hot water 205 degrees. You pour that over 10 seconds. You stir for 25 seconds. You pour another 120 grams. You let that grams of water. You let that steep for 25 seconds. You flip it, and then you plunge it for 40 seconds. A nice slow plunge. It makes a great cup of coffee. It's a little strong, so I usually end up putting a little bit more hot water in my cup when I'm done to make it taste more like more to my taste, but you wouldn't have to do that. There's lots of different ways to use the AeroPress. It's great. I would recommend starting with the AeroPress before you get what I just bought, the my little pour over thing, which I enjoy, but if I had to recommend one bit of coffee making advice to anybody, it'd be own an AeroPress. They're fantastic. Love them. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. I mean, like, there's a reason what I think on Amazon it's 5 stars with like 12,000 reviews. Yeah, they're great. Absolutely great.
All right.
You get 350 filters with them, and the filters are super cheap to replace. Yeah, it's great. I would highly recommend getting an AeroPress.
All right. I think you might have sold me.
Mm-hmm. And then if you decide you want to start still making a pot of coffee, or even have something if family comes over, you want to make a pot of coffee, get your Breville. But for just making one cup at a time, you can do a lot worse with an AeroPress.
Yeah, you're making a lot of sense, man. Not gonna lie, you're making a lot of sense.
Yeah, easy to clean up. It's you get that same kind of French press style, but without any of the mess. This nice little you'll know it the first time you push it the rest of the way and you shoot that puck of grounds into your trash can. You'll be like, oh, there it is. Thunk, right into the trash. It's really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me. Fuck it. Let's go. Yeah. You got me. All right. What's your other big piece of news this week?
Oh yeah, one last thing. So the CDC finally gave the go ahead for kids under 16, so 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Zachary is scheduled to get his first shot on Saturday. Woo woo. Very excited. Very excited.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So
yeah.
Given what we know, sort of about your son and everything he's been through, he literally is going to get the same shot as everybody else, I guess.
Yeah, the regular old Pfizer shot. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm due to get my second shot next week. My second round of Pfizer shots, and I'm a little nervous. I spend a lot of time on the phone these days.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I'm sort of consistently hearing as all these people are getting vaccinated is that second shot can mess you up for a couple days.
Yeah, it can hit you pretty hard. Yeah.
Now, did yours do anything to you?
Yes. The day after my second shot, I kind of described it as I felt like I had a cold minus all of the mucus parts of it, the runny nose and stuff, but body aches, headache, just a general feeling of blech. And that lasted, like it hit me in the afternoon. It lasted through the evening. And I went to bed that night and woke up and I was fine. So like a half a day of feeling, about 24 hours, really, it was about 24 hours after my shot. I had about half a day of feeling, bleh, and then I was fine.
Okay.
Would recommend, highly recommend it. Totally worth it.
I'm just really, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know what to expect. I've just heard all these horror stories, and I don't know how much people exaggerate.
And I've talked to people who've had it worse than that. They were out for a couple of days.
Right.
I've talked to people who were like, my arm hurt.
Well, my arm
Yeah.
really hurt after the first one. Like for
My-
2 days,
yeah.
my arm was really sore, and it didn't
Yeah.
help that I worked out the same day that I got it. But it really hurt, and it was weird because it didn't hurt to touch. It just had like this latent soreness. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd recommend if you can, take the day off after you get your shot, and then you can just lay around and watch videos. I watched videos on my iPad all day. It's what I did. And it was wonderful. I felt kind of bad, but I'm like, meh, I'm just going to lay here on the couch and not do anything. And highly recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've sort of like soft cleared my calendar for the day after.
Yeah.
Like I haven't taken any meetings or anything. I've sort of just left that day open. And if I feel great and I can do work, I'll find stuff to do. I'm not worried about that. But at the same time, if I'm down for the count, I want to be able to just not be around my computer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I did. It was wonderful. No complaint. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I felt a little bad, but meh, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah. Just knowing that, 2 weeks after that, you'll be vaccinated and, you won't have to worry about it anymore. Well, less.
Worry about it less. Now,
Worry about
okay.
it less. Mhm.
So let's kind of dovetail this into like some recent updates here. So
Yeah.
two other things I kind of want to get your thought on here. The first one is the fantastic governor of Ohio has basically decided that he's going to go Willy Wonka on us and give us $1 million for getting the vaccine juice. How do you feel about that?
So, I've got mixed feelings, and I'm probably going to offend somebody, but it's okay.
Nobody listens. It's fine. Go ahead.
I think in the long run, it's going to help get the vaccination numbers up, or at least like here. Oh, not in the long run, but like in the short term, because I just have this feeling that like there's a big overlap between people who are constantly at the gas station buying scratchers and people that don't want to get vaccinated.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's a Venn diagram that's got some pretty common shaders. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So while that money could literally be used for anything else, I think it is going to help the numbers, and people are going to get vaccinated because they're going to want that chance to win $1 million. I mean, what do you think, Drew? I mean,
So
it's
the hot
complicated.
takes,
Yeah.
the hot takes I've seen on Twitter, I see a lot more people who are sort of upset about this than they are happy about this. I think there are people who are happy about it because I think it is going to drive some people to maybe consider getting vaccinated because there's something in it for them finally, air quotes. So I think it'll drive vaccination numbers up. But the take I'm seeing from a lot of people is it's like, well, wait a minute, you're using federal dollars for this. This is money that was given to you by the federal government to set up this vaccination program.
Yep.
So I think by the letter of the law, I think they're using the money the way they're supposed to. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a finance guy. But listen, like I'm sure, I'm relatively sure that you don't need to be a statistician, deep math person to figure this out. You could probably do this on an Excel spreadsheet. You have X dollars. You've bought X vaccine doses. Here's your surplus. Let's just go balls out. Like let's do something cool. Let's make a splash, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they have money left over, and like the government's really good at taking our money and giving money out and then not taking that money back. So I feel like they know what they're doing. I'm not upset about it. I'm a believer that we should be taxed more anyway. I don't know. That's weird. I'll make people mad at me now.
I agree with you, Drew.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Like you could. I know we all need to be mad online. Like that's just how humans are now. We're just hardwired to be mad all the time on Twitter. But I don't see this as a big deal. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome.
I think it's real clever. I think it is going to help. And there's the other thing he announced as well for those people who are vaccinated 17 and under.
Right.
You can enter in for a drawing to get free tuition, 4 years at Ohio State,
Right.
room,
But no,
board, and books.
any
Oh,
school you want, I think, right?
no, I thought it was Ohio State.
I thought it was any. I thought it was any. I could be wrong. But here's the thing though. If I'm being completely objective honest about this, like the kids that have been in school for the past year and a half, I think they're the ones that have had it the hardest. Like I'm not saying
Yeah.
we've all had a good time with this, but imagine being a junior or a senior in high school right now. Like literally everything you've been looking forward to for the past however long you've been in school, a lot of those things have sort of been ripped away from you or altered in ways that haven't been super great. And I still have been going out to dinner during this pandemic, and like we're in that season in Ohio right now where like it's prom for 2 straight months.
Yeah.
So
right,
it's like
right.
every time you go out to dinner on Saturday, it's somebody's prom or homecoming or I don't even
Yeah.
know. So kids are out there still doing that stuff. I don't know if they're actually allowed to dance or if we're still like footloose locked down, dancing is evil right now. But
Oh.
yeah, I feel like if you really wanted to be kind of upfront about this, I feel like you should give away a lot more scholarships than $1 million to people who are probably just going to spend it on like drum kits. I don't know,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, or whatever they're going to, or guns. Who knows, right? But like,
Why not? Why not a drum kit made out of guns?
yeah, exactly. But not a house made out of guns.
Oh,
Right,
it is to state universities in Ohio. So there
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no
are
private
correct.
schools, but any
But
state school.
heck, I'm gonna sign Zachary up for that. I mean, hell, why not?
Yeah, get in there, Zach.
Yep.
Hey, he's
I
a
mean-
smart kid. He could probably get a scholarship without it. But
But hell, if I just put my name,
what the
put his
hell?
name in
Get
there
in
and get and then I don't have to worry about it.
yeah,
Uh,
what the hell?
There's some perfectly good state schools in Ohio.
Oh yeah, there's Ohio State.
There's Ohio State. Yep.
Yeah, there's Ohio University.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cincinnati a state school?
Uh,
I think so.
Ohio's. If I type.
Oh, this is gonna be a hard
Yeah,
search, buddy.
yeah, it
Lot
is.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Marion
Well,
Community
Google
College.
says 137. So
Okay. Okay,
it's a lot.
that seems like a lot.
Yeah, but let's face it, you're going to go to like OU or OSU. I mean, let's be honest.
Those seem to be the big ones.
Mhm.
I don't know. Bowling Green's up there,
That's true.
right?
Bowling Green. Yeah.
Bowling Green, Ohio Northwest, or Ohio Western. Wait, what is it? Ohio Northern. That's what it is. Ohio Northern's up there. That's another good one. I know a lot of people that went to Ohio Northern. Yeah, exactly. They're all drivable. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I'm also sort of excited. I guess they said June 2nd is when we can sort of not wear masks to places with exceptions anymore. But are you still gonna wear a mask places?
I don't know. I've been kind of torn. I mean, I am fully vaccinated, and it would be nice not to wear them. I'm really kind of curious to see, like how businesses react to this, right? Because just because the state says you don't have to, nothing is keeping, Target from going, nope, if you want to come to Target, you still have to wear a mask. So, I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. I don't know yet, Drew. I mean, I kind of feel like the mask is just going to be, I'm not going to wear it all the time, but if I'm feeling sick, it may be something I put on now just because I have them out of courtesy to other people. Like I keep thinking about how many times I went to work when like I'm coughing and sneezing constantly because I have a cold and it's not bad enough for me to feel like I should stay home. So I go to work and I'm sick, and I'm sure I got hundreds of other people sick throughout my whole life because of that.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's something I just don't do anymore. If I don't feel good, I'll just stay home or I'll wear a mask. I don't know. What do you? But I am excited to like do things again with people and see people. So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm also kind of torn. I will probably still wear a mask places, maybe. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to say. I really don't know sort of what to expect with that. It'd be nice not to have to keep a mask handy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, sort of by accident, I have been places without a mask and walked in, and no one has really said anything. I've just kind of been in and out
Hmm.
because I think people. I don't think anybody wants to end up on YouTube or TikTok or anything anymore. I think people just want to be like, all right, yeah. And it was a straight just mistake. It happened twice. It happened once at Target, which happened early on in this whole mess, and it happened at my gym not too long ago. But I don't think anybody really cares because we're all in there huffing and puffing once we get to our places to work out anyway.
Right.
So nobody really cared. So I don't know. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird.
And the CDC today came out with their guidance basically saying, hey, once you're fully vaccinated, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Well, the one that I looked at and I was really concerned about is don't wear a mask outside. And I haven't been wearing a mask outside at when I go to dinner on Saturday nights, if I park my car and I have to walk from my car through downtown Dublin to a restaurant, I never wear my mask.
Yeah, I don't
and
wear my
apparently
mask.
Apparently that makes me a jerk because I guess I was supposed to be doing that.
The way I always understood it was, you only had to wear a mask outside if you were gathering with other people.
Yeah,
Like,
I get that.
If I take the dogs out, or I take the trek to the mailbox, I don't wear a mask for that. But
Sure.
I am a put the mask on in the car guy and walk to the place, mostly because my car has mirrors. I want to make sure I have a good fit. But that's just me.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we're like a good, let's see, we're about 2.5 weeks away from that deadline. I think that happens June 2nd, which I can't believe
2nd.
It's halfway through May already, but here we are.
Here we are. May 13th.
Well, speaking of time flying, what do you say we wrap this one up?
Let's do it. You can find us on the internet at doingtheirbest.com or on Twitter at doingbestpod. You can find me on the Twitters at Paul Baylor. And where can we find you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter over at Pittfurg, Pittfurg.
Yep. Thanks for listening, everybody.
See you.
Whoop, whoop.